Hey everyone, it's Jen with Spirited Saturdays, and this week we're talking about why recovery itself is brave. So we're continuing our topic on bravery, and we're talking about recovery all by itself being such a brave thing and why it's so important to honor that. Recovery itself means facing uncomfortable feelings and coming up against challenges without resorting to embedded, familiar, destructive patterns. And that all by itself, every time you make it through an uncomfortable moment and you don't use a behavior and you don't fixate on the urge or allow yourself to really ruminate in that, or even if you do, but you don't follow through at first, it's it's so important to honor that. It's so important to honor every tiny little step that occurs in recovery. So if you are fixating on something but you're not following through on it, that's progress. If you are trying and trying and trying things to get yourself out of that headspace, that's progress. If you try 5 things and the 6th time you end up doing the behavior, but the day before you tried 3 things and the 4th time you ended up doing the behavior, that's progress. Every single step in recovery counts. And every single time you choose to do right by yourself, you really owe it to yourself to celebrate that. Um, it's no small feat. It is work. And when you work that hard, you are being brave. You're coming up against forces that seem very, very enticing, that have a pull, that seem to, in some aspects, work. And it's only after you have some space from them that you really understand and really get that they really don't work. I mean, you can see that in the moment, but still feel that pull. But when you have some space from the behaviors, you can really integrate the the preference for the healthy option, for the abstaining from the behavior. You can really connect to that and not not prefer the eating disorder, not see that as somehow beneficial or advantageous. So every time you get closer and closer to that place of preferring health, you're really, really being very strong, because this stuff it is it does have a pull when you're in it. So it's hard to see yourself not doing it when you're in it. Um, and so you owe it to yourself to recognize the bravery that it takes to choose something else, to work toward choosing something else, to work toward recovery, to be and to maintain recovery. Every single stage of recovery takes a lot of work. Maintenance of recovery takes work. People have particular struggles with different phases of recovery, and it all takes work. And it's I think the harder you work, the more you should celebrate yourself and your efforts. It's so important. Um, you're doing something that for however long something inside of you was telling you not to do. Um, you're working against a part of you that is so accustomed to taking the reins. So every time you choose something else, you should be very proud of yourself. That is true bravery. And when you are recovered, or when you are in recovery and strongly in recovery, you should continue to honor the bravery that it takes to not choose, not go back to the eating disorder in difficult times. The eating disorder likes to kind of strike when we're vulnerable. Often that's where relapse comes from. So if we're at a new height, we're facing a new difficulty that we've never faced before, we may be compelled to go back to the eating disorder. But the whole point of recovery is to face new feelings. The point of recovery is to explore new facets of yourself, the positive, the negative, to connect with all of those things, to learn and to grow through them. Alanis Morissette, but then again, many other people probably have this quote. I don't know if she originated it. It was the original sayer of it. But somebody said, the only way out is through. And when you recover and when you maintain recovery, you are going through. You're not taking any shortcuts that will end up being self-defeating anyway. On a personal note, I recently felt some things in my life that I've never felt. Kind of a new kind of what I perceived as a negative feeling that I had never felt. And the fact that, and I know that I know that I'm recovered because I felt this new feeling and I stayed with it. I'm staying with it. It's still there to a certain extent. But the beauty of these things is that when you do stay with it, when you stay with them, you stay with the feelings, the pain that oftentimes accompanies recovery, you will see how that naturally fades. Whereas if you stayed in the eating disorder, that pain would not fade because it's not natural. If you stay with the pain that is natural, you will see, if you play it through, you will see, as I have seen and I am seeing, that it does naturally fade. And I'm very thankful for that. Just wanted to get a little personal with that because I'm going through something right now that in the first few days was very hard. And I'm actually witnessing the progression of what happens when I play this out and don't try to take any shortcuts. And in doing that, I'm realizing that there's something to be said for directly connecting with my feelings, and that a natural byproduct of that is that the pain will lessen, as I am seeing. So I'd like to be an advocate or a voice in some way for that, in a very direct kind of personal, time relevant way, going through it as we speak. I guarantee you that if you stay strong and brave in recovery, that whatever feelings come up that are a natural byproduct of recovery, because life will come up, those things will naturally pass, and you get the benefit of learning something from them, as opposed to being in the eating disorder and continuing repeating cycles and cycles and really being stunted and not really learning life's rich and beautiful lessons. So, yeah. Honor yourself, be brave, honor yourself and honor and recognize the bravery that it takes to get through every step, to progress. It's brave if you feel like you slip back, but acknowledge it. That is brave. That is bravery. And it's brave to maintain recovery. It's brave when you explore life and uncertainty and unknowing and fear. That's all so brave. Brave when you reach out, when you connect to other people. It's all so brave. So have a great day and a great week, and I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.